This whole government shutdown thing is just so classic American politics. And not just because it's Democrats giving in to fascists again, but because the choice right now is between taking away health care from the poorest people in this country and taking away food from the poorest people in this country. And that's it. Those are the two options right now. That's what's on the table. And it's like I don't want either of those things. I want people who have more than they need to cover the people who don't have enough to survive. And they give you this choice. Meanwhile, Tesla's shareholders just voted to make Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire in the next few years. And we have to decide between those two things? And then they have the gall to ask us, well, how are we going to pay for that? It's just ridiculous where we're at as a country that this is just a normal thing. And I mean it's symbolic too, because it's the same thing when it comes to elections. I have to pick between the Democrat who's going to basically do nothing but continue to serve corporate interests and the Republican who's going to actively make my life worse. You know, instead of, hey, can we get someone who's actually offering some kind of systemic fundamental change? Can we get someone who's going to target the billionaires instead of deciding which way we're going to screw over the poorest people who need the most help in this country? It reminds me of a year ago about when I was hearing that, like, oh, they're thinking about raising the retirement age because there's just not enough money in Social Security. And it's like, you're telling me I now have to choose between people who didn't make enough excess in their careers to set aside money for retirement, or the people who rely on Social Security to stay alive, like people with disabilities? No, I want to take it away from people who have way more than they could ever spend in 20 lifetimes. And I don't think that should make me a completely insane, radical, leftist, communist, Marxist. Well, it might make me those things, but I don't think that those things are as bad words as you think they are, because the people who use those words as bad words typically don't know what they mean. And like, let me be clear. I know that this is because of Republicans, right? Like the Democrats, most of them actually held their spine intact. But it's just such a gleaming example of the only solutions were ever presented about this, which is how do we pick on more and or the poorest people in this country instead of looking up. But maybe if Democrats hadn't spent the last, I don't know how many years or decades dismantling any kind of progressive or movement to the left of them, so that they can continue to negotiate with Republicans instead, maybe we could actually have someone who'd stand up to this.